Hi, it's Dave. It's September the 9th, 2019. It's 5:35. I'm just heading back down into the village of Lytton. I was up at the top of the road there. Um, I don't have enough data points to say for certain, but any of these, there's different signage that you have to pay attention to. If you see bright yellow signs, there's something to do with security, and it means that it's a patrolled zone or it's a zone that's under watch. It's not free. It's very fascist. Um, I've taken some pictures today of school crossings, kids crossing a road to be careful. Some are in yellow and some are in white. If it's in white, it means that that road is not under fascist control. If it's in yellow, it means it is in fascist control. We saw coming out of Hope along the Trans-Canada Highway, we saw that special safety corridor zone, the Fraser Valley Safety Corridor Zone. And that was saying, and if you remember, see, here's one in yellow. We can't say 100% every single sign is this way. You have to look around yourself and look at the terrain and look at the signs and see whether they're new, whether they're old, whether they're in yellow like that one or not. Remember that Fraser Valley Safety Corridor sign? That was exactly like East and West Germany, where from West Berlin, you had to go through East Germany to get to West Germany. And there was this tiny sliver of land that was free, that you could travel along to get to Western Germany. And if you weren't on that land, then you were in East Germany and you were in Soviet-controlled zones. That's what's happened here in Canada. Is there are zones that are free and zones that are not free. So I was standing up there probably for about 2.5, 3 hours, and people have been told over the radio or TV, however, not to pick up hitchhikers at all. I suppose they're all supposed to be non-conformists like me, or dissidents, or people who just are trying to flee. The thing is, the Great Water Apocalypse occurred 3 years ago, so the Trans-Canada Highway now might be different. Whereas in May of 2016, people were traveling on it, and probably quite a few, to get to free Canada. Now it's been taken over, and there's parts of it that are free and parts of it that aren't so free. Hope itself, I warn everyone, stay away from Hope. Do not go near Hope, BC. It is a death camp that is being erected right now. I just passed a sign there I wanted to show you, but anyway, you can see, look over there, you can see where there are signs everywhere where people have been tried to get out, and there was graffiti, or there was actually bombings on bridges that had to be rebuilt. So what I'm hoping is I'm going down into the town because the Trans-Canada Highway there had several signs in bright yellow indicating that it was a fascist controlled zone. And I'm going down into the town. When I was in Boston Bar, the way I got out of Boston Bar, I had stood for hours trying to hitch a ride in front of that gas station, which was fascist. And I went to another gas station and I approached people. This is much easier in real life anyway. If you approach somebody at a gas station along the side of a road and ask them, are you going to so-and-so place? They get a brief sense of who you are, so they don't feel as nervous or as apprehensive about picking you up. I did that in Boston Bar. I've sat maybe just for half an hour and approached a man in a truck who was, like a carpenter, or he did carpet insulation and household work on the side of his van, and he gave me a ride here, no problem. Whereas if I had been standing on the side of the road, he might have been more apprehensive about stopping or whatever. But see, there's something about people were warned. I've had a few people tell me this in the last week. They were warned not to pick up people on the freeways. And that, I think, is in preparation for the concentration and death camps that are being built here. Hope is a major death camp. Do not go near it. Do not go near Hope at all. There are sentry points going in and out of the town. It's in a valley. There's only 2 or 3 ways into it. One is from the Trans-Canada Highway heading from the south north or towards the east, and the other one is across the bridge that I crossed by foot across the Fraser River going north. There's only 2 or 3 ways to get in or out of the town, and you're stuck. It's perfect for a death camp. There are sentry points all over. It's horrific. Do not go near Hope, BC, unless you're in a car and you're going straight through. Don't stop. Don't do anything there. It's a horrific place. So I'm going back into the center of town here. I did see an RCMP car here when I was walking to get out of the town. I don't know. See, some RCMP people are okay and some are not okay. And you never 100% know. Some of them have given me signals and helped me. And like the woman, the best example of someone who helped me was the woman, the RCMP officer, who basically had to give me safe passage from along the Trans-Canada Highway after I was standing for 14 hours. I thank her, and I thank the legitimate good police at the RCMP. There are still some for doing that and helping me. But I could tell that people got very nervous because it got to 14 hours and nobody was stopping. Again, that was along the Trans-Canada Highway. There's something here that people are very nervous about, getting people. Hi there. Hi, doggy. How are you? They're nervous. I can see why they're nervous, because there are a lot of chicken clones masquerading as humans who aren't the same as us. Their value systems are different, and they're just different people. So I'm in town now. I'm hoping to find a gas station in town or somewhere. I now see that going up at the top there, elevated where the Trans-Canada is not the place to pick up a ride. I have to pick up a ride here, meet somebody, and get a ride from them, and then climb up the hill and get out of town. You know, like I say, I'm only operating with a certain limited number of data points. So I can't say 100% sure everything I'm saying is accurate, but I have to go on the data points I've got and the conclusions that I got feeling. There's definitely, compared to Boston Bar, I have to say, and there's probably some people in Ottawa, some MPs and government officials, and some people in law enforcement throughout the country who can understand exactly what I'm saying with this. They can bring you down, and they can send you into depths of depression that are unimaginable, that can last days and days. And Boston Bar was like that to me. It was just hell for 3 days, and I can sense going through it, and I can see it, and I can see Stephen Harper. I saw Stephen Harper a day and a half ago, and he's just the most evil fucking fucker you've ever imagined. There are some people in Ottawa who can understand and look at me and say he knows exactly what he's talking about because they've gone through this. There's this depression and this pallor that is almost insurmountable. It just drives you so far down and you have no energy. I prayed yesterday and I asked Daryl, thank you, Daryl, you helped me immensely. I knew you would. And it brought me out of the funk that I was in for several days there. And it was just this valley that was just darkness. So I'm going north. I'm going to get to Case Creek is what it's called. And then I'm going to have to decide from there. Um, BC is just the worst province of all. It's bad. There's death everywhere here. Um, Alberta is a province that I've always felt very comfortable within. I lived in Alberta in 1994 for almost a year. Alberta has been very welcoming to me through my life. It was in 1994. It was 2 years ago when I was there in Edmonton and Calgary. There's something about Alberta and Albertans that is very kosher with me. So when I get to Case Creek, I'm going to have to decide from there what I feel of signs. I might go to Edmonton. Um, the Edmonton police, out of every police force and every municipality or town in Canada, never touched me. I was there for only 3 weeks, which isn't a great sample size, but I was in other places for less and I had much more problems, much greater numbers of problems. There's something about Alberta that so far works for me, and I think maybe that's the place I need to go. I'm going to have to figure, I know Alberta really well. I lived there in 94 for almost a year. I had a car. I drove around. I know places like Airdrie and Edson